I had been looking for a companion for a while. Then I found Meet Your Match. I took a survey that took what I was looking for and found my best match. She had all the qualities that I wanted. She was fun-loving, energetic, and active. She was a green, I was a green. It was perfect.
My name is Emily Bostwick. I am Animal Behavior Programs Assistant with the Nebraska Humane Society. I worked here for 7 years, and I've been in the behavior department for about 4 years. When an animal comes into the shelter, depending on what their age is, it differs between each pet with what we do behaviorally with them. For example, with dogs 6 months of age and older, once they legally become our property, the first thing that we'll do with them is something called an aggression assessment, called the SAFER evaluation. SAFER helps us determine who is safe to put up for adoption and who is not. Again, like I said, this is an aggression assessment. Once dogs pass their SAFER evaluation, they're ready to get their caninality. That is part of the Meet Your Match program. What the caninality does is helps us get to know the dog a little bit better, helps us understand what drives that dog, what their likes are, if they like to play with toys, how food motivated they are, how people-oriented they are, all of those sorts of things. And once they're done with their caninality, they get scored, and then they're awarded a color and a caninality personality. And once they go up for adoption and are available in the adoption kennels, if someone walks through and they're looking at the dogs and they're interested in possibly meeting some of our dogs, they themselves will fill out a survey, and depending on what their answers on the survey is, they'll actually get scored and receive a color. And the three different caninality, well, I should say the three different Meet Your Match colors are purple, green, and orange. And so if the person is awarded a color, then the dogs or cats that are the same color as them would be the best match for their household. That they can't adopt a purple dog if they're orange, or can't adopt outside of their color. They're more than welcome to adopt outside of their color, but it's then up to the adoption counselor to really let that person know, okay, you're orange, you're a middle of the road household energy level wise, you're looking at a green dog, and green dogs might have a little bit more energy than maybe what you're used to. What do you think you can do to help accommodate this dog into your home? So that way we can send people home with what to expect with that animal. That's the whole point of the caninality, is it's a snapshot of what that dog is in the here and now. So that way when they take that dog home, they know exactly what to expect with them. They can make a good, strong bond right off the bat, and then if any problems arise, they're a lot more likely to keep that dog and work with it. Each of these tests that we're doing, so left alone greeting, crate tests, play, food motivation, and manners, they each have their own set of options to choose from with a score. So each of them except for the crate test has a score that the dog will get. The first thing that we do when we bring the dog into the assessment room is we do something called a left alone test. What the left alone test is the dog is left alone in our assessment room for 4 minutes. We have a baby monitor set up, a video baby monitor set up, and the camera will help us see what the dog is doing during that 4-minute period. The assessment person leaves the room and goes to a separate room where the baby monitor is, and they watch the dog for that 4-minute period. After the 4-minute left alone test, the evaluator goes back into the room for the greeting test. So the dog's been separated from us for a short period of time. The evaluator goes back in and gives a very enthusiastic greeting that lasts for at least 20 seconds. What we're trying to look at with this test is how excited can we get the dog, and what's the dog going to do when we greet it? Is it going to jump on us? Is it going to sit for attention? Is it going to vocalize? What different behaviors can the potential new owner expect from this dog? After the greeting test, we do the optional crate test. And so with the crate test, we take a high value food item. So normally we use hot dogs, Vienna sausages, or canned chicken. We'll give the dog a little taste of it so they know we have something good, and then we'll open the crate door. Now, all we do when we open the door is we want to see whether or not the dog will just walk in, or if we say kennel or something like that, is the dog going to go in on its own? If it doesn't, then we try to lure the dog in with the high value food item. We'll toss it in or make a little trail of treats and try to get the dog in that way. If we can get the dog into the crate, then we will shut the crate door and leave the dog in there for 3 minutes. We will leave the room and again watch on the baby monitor and see what the dog does. Does the dog bark and pace and circle and scratch in the kennel? Does it try to break out of the kennel? Does it just lay down quietly and wait for us to come back? Those are different things that I think it's really important for the adopter to know, because one of the most common calls that I get on our behavior helpline from people is, I brought the dog home and I tried to go to bed and I put the dog in the kennel and it screamed all night and I didn't know what to do. But if this is something that we can give them a heads up on right off the bat, it makes it a lot easier for them because we're sending them home with what they can expect with that animal. After the crate test, we let the dog out, give them 90 seconds to kind of de-stress from being in the crate. Some dogs can get really worked up from being in there, so we want to give them 90 seconds to just sniff around the room and kind of de-stress from that situation. And after the 90-second period, we're standing in the room the whole time, but we're not really doing anything with the dog. We'll begin the play test. And what the play test is we will try to play with the dog with 3 different toys: a rope toy, a tennis ball, and a plush squeaky toy. I'll try to play fetch with the dog. I'll try to play tug with the dog. I'll squeak the squeaky toy, see if that gets their attention. During the play test, we're very enthusiastic. We kind of look really silly, but the dog sometimes will really get into it. It just kind of depends on the dog. And so that also is really useful information for the potential adopter to take home. Oh, Fido likes squeaky toys. I should buy one before I go home. Or Fido likes to play tug, or likes to play fetch, or whatever. Second to last test is the food motivation test. And that's where we take that high value food item that we were using before for the crate test. So Vienna sausages, canned chicken, or hot dog, just very small pieces, and we play a little game with the dog. And the idea of the game is you move your head, you get the food. And the idea behind the test is to slowly work up to more complex behaviors to see how hard that dog is going to work for the food. How hard is the dog going to work for what it wants? And so that helps the potential new owner understand how easy that dog may be to train. Or, okay, this dog isn't food motivated at all, but it loves to play. And so you can use play as a reward for training instead of treats. Manners assessment, and it's our observations of the dog throughout the start of the assessment to the end. So the moment we take the dog out of the kennel to when we're scoring everything and we're done. So on the back is where we can do our overall score. So we're going to put our individual scores for each test and then add them up at the bottom. Whatever score we come up with, we will look on this scale, and it'll help us determine if the dog's purple, orange, or green. And then these are the individualities within each category. Let's add it up. We have a green dog, so 18.
Diamond did test into a green, which you tested into your green when you filled out your survey.
Thanks to Meet Your Match, I found my match.